Welcome to the Weekly Holler, a heady brew of dark history, haunted folklore, and backwoods strangeness.
And she was an old lady when she was telling this story. Said we were sitting out there and it was dark, awful dark. No moon, no stars, pitch black. And out in the front yard, there rears up this white thing.
Hi, I'm Luke Boserman, the blogger behind the Weekly Holler. In the winter of 1895, stories began to circulate along the Louisville-Nashville Railroad in southern Alabama about a black outlaw. The outlaw quickly achieved legendary status and became known as Railroad Bill. Although he was never concretely identified, and his career on the wrong side of the law was short-lived, Railroad Bill's escapades became the stuff of folk tales, ballads, fiction, and theater. According to legend, one day in Escambia County, Florida, a black man left the turpentine camp where he worked and walked into town with a rifle under his arm. A policeman saw him and demanded that he hand over the gun. The black man refused, and when the policeman grabbed for his rifle, he raised it and squeezed the trigger. The policeman fell to the ground dead, and the black man ran for his life. At the railroad station, the fugitive saw a freight train leaving town and he jumped on board, a choice that would change him forever. The life of a humble turpentine worker was behind him, and he would come to be known as Railroad Bill. L&N Railroad employees began to notice train cars arriving at their destinations with broken seals and missing contents. The prices of canned food and lumber began to drop along the L&N Railroad due to cheaper, stolen items surfacing on the market. Poor families awoke in the middle of the night to knocking on their door, and when they opened it, they found food on the stoop. On March 6, 1895, railroad employees attempted to capture a man they found sleeping on a water tank along the railroad. The man produced a rifle and fired at the employees, hijacked a passing train car, then disappeared into the woods. In response to this incident, the L&N Railroad launched a manhunt to find the outlaw. But try as they might, Railroad Bill proved too elusive. In fact, he was so hard to catch that some members of the posse suspected that he was no normal outlaw. Suspicions that Railroad Bill was a powerful conjure man were roused one night during a chase through the Mississippi woods. A small brown dog appeared out of nowhere and began barking alongside the posse's bloodhounds. As soon as the little dog appeared, the bloodhounds lost Railroad Bill's trail. Then the little brown dog vanished. Shortly after that, a sheriff chased Railroad Bill into some bushes. The sheriff began kicking the bushes, and a fox ran out. The sheriff shot both barrels of his shotgun at the animal, but missed. After the second shot, the fox turned around and laughed at the sheriff. None of these stories hold a candle to the time when a posse was right on Railroad Bill's heels, chasing him through a farmer's field, and before their very eyes, the outlaw transformed into a black lamb and bounded away. When posses got too close for Railroad Bill to change into an animal, he would shoot to kill. On July 4th, 1895, Sheriff E.S. McMillan tracked Railroad Bill to a house near Bluff Springs. As the sheriff approached the house, Railroad Bill opened fire and disappeared into the woods, leaving the sheriff fatally wounded. A newspaper reported the event. It was not till an early hour this morning that the terrible news of the killing of Mr. E.S. McMillan was known generally to our townspeople, although he expired at 12 o'clock last night from the effects of a shot fired by the notorious outlaw, Railroad Bill. For several months, Mr. McMillan has been endeavoring to capture Railroad. It seemed that there were always parties who kept him posted on the movements of the officers and also kept him supplied with ammunition, so that Mr. McMillan realized that it was a difficult task to take this outlaw when persons who were supposed to be law-abiding citizens were aiding him to escape. Last Monday, hearing that Railroad was at Molino, Sheriff McMillan, accompanied by Dr. O'Bannon and son Charles, went down there and hunted for him Monday and Tuesday. They traced him to Bluff Springs, and by means of a Negro man, they located him at a house about a half mile above the station. This was about 9 o'clock last night. The posse headed by Mr. McMillan proceeded to go to the place and had gone only a little way, just to the upper end of the town near the railroad, when someone from behind a tree said, "Who's there?" then immediately fired. No one was hit. Mr. McMillan turned in the direction of the tree, gun in hand, and leaning forward when a second shot was fired, the ball hitting him near the heart and ranging downward, passed clear through him. By the summer of 1895, a $1,250 reward was being offered for the capture of Railroad Bill. Bounty hunters from all over the nation flocked to the area, joining lawmen, railroad detectives, and posses. Many innocent African Americans were accused of being Railroad Bill or assisting him in his crimes. The manhunt continued until March 7, 1896, when a man was gunned down by a host of law enforcement officials at Tidmore and Ward's General Store in Atmore, a depot town along the L&N. Railroad Bill's body was placed on public view in Brewton, Alabama, and crowds of curious spectators gathered to take a look. Many residents of the town recognized the man as Bill McCoy, a local troublemaker, and refused to believe that he was Railroad Bill. Some railroad detectives agreed, saying the outlaw they had been after was named Morris Slater, a convict lease worker. Loved and hated, Railroad Bill's story became a subject of Southern blues ballads and late-night tales told throughout the South. Many people say that he was never caught, that he's still out there somewhere, riding the rails. I hope you enjoyed this folktale. For more stories like this, check out theweeklyholler.com and sign up for our email newsletter. You can also find The Weekly Holler on Facebook, YouTube, and the Weekly Holler podcast.